Hey guys, it's me, Michelle with Lavis, and I told you we were going to make meatloaf in our stack cooker. I'm so excited to do that. But guess what? Came in today. I'm so excited. Can't wait to try this, but not today. We're not going to do it today. This is my Micro Pro grill. Now I know what you're thinking. Micro what? Grill? Yeah, microwave grill. It goes in the microwave. It has a plate on this side, plate on that side. You can put chicken in here, you can put fish in here, you can put a grilled cheese sandwich in here. And you put this on, and when you have the lid going this way, whatever you have in here, you press down and it sears both sides. But you could like put it this way, and on in the inside, you could layer like a lasagna or something and put it right in the microwave and it cooks. I'm so excited. And I also purchased the Micro Pro Grill ring. So you can put the ring inside like this and put like a cake batter, right? And then you put your lid on like that so that you see there's air holes on either side, and then it goes in the microwave. Oh, I'm so excited. But that's a demo for another day. Anyway, back to making meatloaf in our stack cooker, which I'm so excited about. So I'm gonna do some prep work and then I'll come back and show you how to put it all together. Right now, I'm just going to wash and peel 2 potatoes, and I'm going to chop up probably just a half of an onion, not the whole onion, but I'm gonna use my chef prep to do my chopping for me. And then I have some frozen bell peppers that I've just been letting hang out on the counter and defrost. And then I'm gonna chop those up too with some chopped garlic, and I'm gonna saute those and set them aside to cool. And then I'm gonna come back and show you how to put together my famous meatloaf. All right, be back soon. So just really quick, I was gonna talk to you about the Tupperware knives. They are super awesome. This is the universal knife. There's several different kinds of knives that you can purchase. Some of them actually even come like more than one. I'm gonna just turn to the page really quick. I was just thinking about it and I was like, you know what, let me unpause them, because I keep trying to tell people that Tupperware is not just containers anymore. So if you have a catalog or in the online catalog, you can see there's different knives that you can purchase. Obviously you could see that one right there. That one is number 7 on catalog, page 17. It's a Universal Series chef knife. It's only $29, and it comes in its own little case here, so you can keep it sharp and store it. You're not going to cut your hand when you go to grab it. Another one of the favorites that I have had people order from me a lot is the Universal Series serrated and utility knife set. These two right here come together, the serrated knife and the utility knife, that you can pretty much use for anything. And Tupperware also sells, you can see right here, this is a super easy to use knife sharpener. I know I have bought like an electric one by a super fancy name brand guy, chef guy, and it was super intimidating to use. It's diamond plated and I hated using it, and I ended up, I think I probably just threw it away. But anyway, I just thought I would pause really quick and tell you about that. Okay, so I'm gonna get my onion chopped, and then I'll come back and show you how to use the chef prep to just blitz it up super fast. Be right back. Okay guys, so I'm back really quick. So what I've done is I had a really huge onion, so I cut it in half and then I quartered it. And I'm gonna chop it in 2 different sections because you don't wanna overfill your chef prep, otherwise it's not gonna cut everything up evenly. So I'm gonna put, I just kind of rough chopped it, and I always feel like I heard somebody, like I watch a lot of Food Network shows and chef stuff, and they said if you need it twice, just chop it once. So I've got the other half here that I'm going to do the same thing to, and I'm just going to set those aside because I'm also going to do Brussels sprouts with bacon and onions as part of my whole dinner that I'm going to do. See, I mean, just, sorry, you know, I always forget to do this on camera so you guys can see. It's super easy. Just put it in there, give it a few pulls, and it totally dices it up for you. Let me turn on my pan. So if you watched this morning, I did kind of a little chorizo and egg demo in my Chef Series pan because I wanted you guys to see about these Stay Cool handles. And you can see too, like I'm holding that over here, and it's not like tipping, like, oh, the pan's so heavy I can't hold it. So anyway, I've got just a small pat of butter in the pan here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put in my diced, actually let me give it one more, I got overzealous there and forgot to finish zipping it up. So okay, I've got in here basically a quarter of a really big onion, because I didn't want to do the whole onion or it wouldn't get chopped up evenly. And I'm going to try to turn the camera so you can actually see me. I feel like I forget to do that sometimes. So anyway, in here, I'm going to go ahead and put my quarter of an onion. And I'm doing this because I watch a lot of Food Network, and I saw this person who made meatloaf, and they said the tip to keeping it moist was sauteing your vegetables first. And obviously you can't saute them and then be hot and then put them in your meatloaf. So I'm dicing up the onion. I'm going to put in some chopped garlic in here, as well as my bell pepper, and I'm going to let that get soft and cooked up a bit. So I'm just going to put the blade back here in my chef prep, and I'm going to do the other quarter of this onion because I want some onion to go with my Brussels sprouts. So again, I just quartered it, cut it in half, and then in a few extra little pieces just so it fits down in the chef prep. Super easy. You put this right back on like this. Oh, quick thing. When you're sauteing onions, you always want to put a little bit of salt. That helps it release its moisture, and you're going to get a better caramelization. So not a lot, because we're going to season throughout the cooking process. You should always season every layer of food. Again, I watch a lot of Food Network. So anyway, go ahead and give those just a little bit of salt. That's going to help them release their moisture and get a better caramelization. So back to these onions. So I'm going to point the camera down here so you can see, because you want to put it down. See if I put it a little further back. You want to stabilize it. On the bottom, there's this little pad here, and it's like rubber, so it helps it to maintain a grip. So it's super easy to do. Let me see if I turn it sideways, you can see it a little better. You're just going to grab the cord, give it a few pulls, and see how quickly it just dices those onions for you. And I'm not over here crying because I'm dying from these onions. I don't want to go too many times because I don't want it to get too fine. Just give it a little shake. I have one onion in there that's kind of hanging around on top and doesn't want to get. There we go. See, give it a little shake and it's good to go. So I've just got a little bowl. I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, set it aside so that later on when I go to put it in my Brussels sprouts, and I probably won't even need all of these onions, but then I'll already have some diced up for the next thing I do. So if I make, an omelet in the morning or something like that, I'll already have these diced up onions ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of garlic in with my onions, because like I said, I like to season as I go, and I have some jar chopped garlic that I'm just going to use. You could use fresh and zip it up super fast in your chef prep. And I'm almost out, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish the jar. My family, we love garlic. So okay, I just get that out of the way. Give that a little bit of a stir here, and I want to go ahead and get my my bell peppers in there too. Now, as I said earlier, I'm just using some frozen bell peppers. You're probably not supposed to do that with your knives, but I just do. Sorry. Like I said, not a pro chef here, just a home cook. So I'm going to put about half of my bell pepper bag in here, and then I'll put these away in another bag. And matter of fact, I'm going to set them over there because I can see they're kind of leaking on my counter. I don't want that stuff leaking everywhere. So I've got them back in my chef prep. I'm going to go ahead and get my lid back on. Give this a few pulls. They're still kind of frozen. See how easily it just gets through that too? It takes so much chopping work. And I could have bought in fresh bell peppers, and usually I do, but in this case I was like, I have some in the freezer. I want to use what I have. I want to spend money and waste money. So I'm going to go ahead and just get these in the same pan that my onions and garlic are going in. And since these are frozen and they're already got some water in them, I want to go ahead and turn up the heat. Sorry, I'm out of camera view again. So now I've got my onions, garlic, and bell peppers. And I'm just going to let them go ahead and hang out in there and let that moisture cook off. While that is happening, and I'm going to pause it so you don't have to sit here and watch it, I'm going to go ahead and wash up these two potatoes. I'm going to peel off the skin. I'm just going to get them diced, and I'm going to put them up in here and with some water. That way they don't turn brown while I'm prepping everything else. All right, I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys, I am back, and I'm pretty much prepped, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. If you've seen my demo from the other night, which was last night, because I just got my stack cooker in, I'm super excited. Last night I made rice in the bottom of the stack cooker. I breaded some chicken with Italian breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese and put that on top of a bed of green beans and carrots, and then put the chicken on top of that, and I layered everything in there, and then in the top layer was cherry pie filling with chocolate cake as a dump cake style. So it was literally just cherry pie filling, some chocolate cake sprinkled on top, some butter strategically placed around. Everything went in the microwave for 25 minutes. When it came out, it was done and ready to go. It was super easy and so fantastic. So we're gonna start with our bottom layer. Now, one thing I keep forgetting to mention is this was my day off, so I had plenty of time. I didn't have to pre-prep. But if I wanted to, I could prep this all the night before, the morning before I go to work, if I had time in the morning. Put these seals, because it does come with 2 seals, right onto my stack cooker after I get it all prepped, put it into the refrigerator. That way when I get home, all I gotta do is put it in the microwave and it's ready to go. And dinner's done in minutes, and I can unwind, change, throw in a little laundry, whatever I need, run the kid to soccer practice and drop him off. Whatever I need to do, I have time to do it because it's set it and forget it in the microwave. So let's get going here. All right, so I have my very bottom layer. This is my 3-quart casserole. And so I watched a YouTube video, so I watched somebody else do this, and I'm super excited to try this out. So I told you guys I was going to just chop and cover some potatoes in some water just so they didn't turn brown. So I chopped them in about this size, maybe like 1.5 inches and 1/2 inch or so. So I'm gonna just put those right down in the bottom. I don't wanna just dump it because I don't wanna put too much water in. So I'm kind of just spreading these out in the bottom, and we're gonna mash these later. So don't worry about getting this in here perfectly layered and, you know, cut all super evenly. And I mean, well, they do need to be cut kind of evenly because you want them to cook evenly. So I've got these. Actually, this one I need to cut a little bit smaller because it's a little bit big. Don't do this at home, guys. I don't want you cutting your fingers off. But I'm just gonna trim that one and one other piece over here a little bit smaller because I want to make sure that they all get cooked so that I can easily mash them when this is all done. This one's a little bit big too. So if you see some big pieces, just, you know, like I'm doing here, it's a learning process. Make them a tad bit smaller so that they cook evenly, and they're easily mashable when they come out. You know, I have to do this guy too. He's a little bit big too. So just make him a little bit smaller. Like I said, I don't recommend doing this at home. Use a cutting board unless you're, you know, been cooking for quite a long time like I have. That one is actually a little wide. And not like I never cut myself, but I know my way around the kitchen pretty well. Okay, so I don't need that knife anymore, so I'm just gonna put it in the sink. Okay, a couple more little pieces here. And then you wanna kind of just flatten them there along the bottom. Now, I'm gonna use the water, it was just cold water, and I'm gonna pour water in here just till it kind of covers the potatoes. We don't wanna like overfill it because we're gonna put another layer, right? Because it's called a stack cooker. So just till it kind of covers them. And I think it is going to take that exact amount. Well, hey, I did that pretty well. This also is one of our That's a Bowl junior bowls. I love my That's a Bowls. They're called That's a Bowls because they get really bigger. Like this is one of the smaller ones, and this is the next size, and it gets bigger and bigger from there. And they're like, whoa, that's a bowl. That's why they're called a That's a Bowl. So they're super awesome. They come with these seals, so everything seals up. So it's super awesome. So later on for my mashed potatoes, I'm gonna need about a cup of milk. And we're not gonna pour that all in at the same time either, but I don't want it to be cold. So I'm putting it in one of my little That's a Bowl minis, and I'm gonna put a seal on it, and I'm just gonna let it hang out here on the counter until this is done. It's not gonna be sitting out on the counter all day and curdling. That would be disgusting. But once we get this in here, the food cooks at about 5 minutes per pound of food, and we're probably gonna have about 5 pounds of food. So it's gonna go about 25 minutes. Now I have an older microwave, and it takes a little bit longer to cook things. So I'm gonna probably go for about 28 minutes. You wanna make sure your food is getting cooked. So then, the next thing that we're gonna do is prep our meatloaf. So I'm just gonna set our potatoes inside. One thing I'm gonna do too that, like I said, you wanna make sure you're seasoning your food as you go along. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt on the potatoes and their water. Not a lot, but just a little bit. Okay, and I've got my milk in my container over here, setting aside for later, so it's kind of room temperature and doesn't chill my potatoes when I go to mash them later. I also have butter in our butter container, just kind of hanging out on the counter getting soft, so that it's easy to mash in when our potatoes come out. So next we're going to go ahead and get our meatloaf ready. So I have my That's a Bowl Junior, and I have here 2 pounds of 80/20 hamburger meat. And I know you're like, 80/20, wow, that's a really kind of a greasy meat. That's more for like making hamburgers on the grill. But one of the coolest things about the stack cooker is we are going to put down the solid 1.5 quart. Is going to stack right above our potatoes. Then we're going to put in the colander one. So when we go to put our meatloaf in here, we are going to put it around the edges of the colander. So all the fat stuff that's yucky is going to drip into the base. It's not going to get on our potatoes because we have a base there protecting our potatoes, but it's going to drain off. So it's not going to mess up our meatloaf. Is not going to be soggy. It's going to get all of that off. So I've got 2 pounds of just 80/20 ground beef. Now you could use ground turkey, you could use ground chicken, you could use a combination. I do that most of the time. So I want you to remember that in the beginning I sauteed some onions, bell pepper, and garlic, and cooked it in my little Chef Pro pan here. So I'm going to put that right into my meat. It's already been hanging on the stove. I sauteed it for just a few minutes to get it kind of soft, and it's cool enough to go in the meat without starting to cook it. Set that aside. Don't need that anymore for now. Also, we need to season. Pepper. Not going to add a lot of salt. I don't like adding a lot of salt, but we're going to add some ingredients that already have salt in them. I'm one of those cooks that just kind of eyeball stuff. I don't really go like, you need a tablespoon of this or whatever. Just eyeball it. You want it to be flavorful. Okay. So we're going to add a little bit of Worcestershire. Worcestershire sauce, already salty. I probably said that wrong. How do you say it? Worcestershire, Worcestershire, it's probably one of the things. Tomato, So I'm just going to put a few dashes. This has so much good flavor. It's one of those, like, not really a secret ingredient because I think quite a few people use them. It's just not always mentioned. So I also have, speaking of tomato, a can of diced petite tomatoes. You could use regular tomatoes. You could use fresh and just dice them up. Only going to use about half because I'm going to put the other half in with our Brussels sprouts. So I've just drained that can and set it aside. So speaking of ketchup and tomato, I'm going to make my sauce at the same time. I like to make my sauce taste like what I put in it. So I have another That's a Bowl mini here that I'm going to make my sauce in at the same time and set it aside so it's ready for later, because we're not going to put the sauce on right now. We're going to let it cook, then we're going to pull it out, put the sauce on, put it back in for another couple of minutes so they get saucy. So as I said, I like to put in the same things that I'm putting into my meatloaf. So a little Worcestershire in the bowl. We're not going to put a ton of ketchup because we're also going to add barbecue sauce. Woo! Got it all over me. So going to put a little ketchup in there, just to eyeball it. And then we're going to squeeze about the same amount of ketchup. My dog does not like that. I'm going to pause it real quick and clean up this splatter from the ketchup. Be right back. Okay, nobody likes ketchup splatter, right? Right. All right. So we are also going to put a good little squeeze of yellow mustard. Probably about 2 tablespoons or so. This is a lot of meat, so we want to make sure it gets flavored. We're going to put about a tablespoon or so into our sauce mix. Then we're going to use some barbecue sauce, like I said. And you can make your meatloaf any way you want. I don't know why people think things need to be a certain way or an exact recipe. I don't ever go by an exact recipe. I just kind of eyeball it and make it my own. Because, you could make, Italian seasoned. And all of the vegetables we put it would go in a great Italian, add some Italian seasoning to this and use a pasta sauce in it and on top of it as the topping. That would be great. I'm just gonna let this part hang out a little bit longer because I need some more of that barbecue sauce to work its way down. I don't like adding water, it dilutes it. So So we'll just set him over there, and we're gonna put our lid on our little That's a Bold Junior Mini here for later. And we're gonna get our meatloaf mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it for a second while I mix it up, and I'll be right back in to show you how to put it into the stack cooker. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, so I got my meatloaf mixture all mixed up. You can see everything's pretty well incorporated. I did forget to add, I try not to show the brands of the stuff I use because I don't want to get in trouble, but I added a garlic lovers seasoning and just put a good amount, like 3 turns of the good amount of a pour in there, and I just kind of got that all incorporated and mixed up. Also, I was going to tell you earlier, I used my chef prep, and you can find that on page 10 of the current 2021 spring and summer catalog. It is currently on sale. So the Power Chef Premium System is normally $93. I believe it is on sale right now for $69. And if you go to my website, you can find it on there. There's so many good sales right now. I can't even tell you. I'm super excited. I'll have to show you. I'm going to try to, if I can, have time before work tomorrow, do a demo with my Power Chef grill. It's the micro grill. And right now there's a special too for the summer of the hamburger patty containers. I know that's been a favorite forever. And you put it in the container, and it comes with the things to like push it down and form the perfect hamburger patty. Anyway, we're at 21 minutes, so I don't want to make my videos too long and lose you. So let me show you how to put this together, right? So we've got our potatoes in the bottom with just some water, a little bit of salt. Then we have our solid next stack, the 1.5 casserole part. Then we're gonna put the colander, the one with the holes, next, right on top of that. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take half of our mixture of our meatloaf, and we're gonna just put it around the edges. We're gonna kind of leave a space in the middle, and we're just gonna put it around the edges. So we're gonna kind of form like a ring. And normally it comes with this cone and you can do it in the bottom, but I'm gonna use the lid that comes with the stack cooker to cook our Brussels sprouts in. So I don't want to put the ring in, or the little cylinder there, because then it's not going to leave room for me to put the lid upside down, inverted, and have an extra layer to make our vegetable. Because the one thing that I want to like do here is I want to have everything done all at the same time in the same cooker, so that I can go take a shower and get ready for church while this is in the microwave. And set it and forget it and come back and have my full meal done. So I'm skipping dessert tonight. I'm not going to do the dessert. I was thinking I would have time to probably do it in the Pro Grill, but that's a demo for another day. So what I want to show you here, since I put half of the mixture in, like I said, and I left a little space in the middle, the way the micro cookers work, they cook from the outside in. So you want the thickest part of your meatloaf to be on the edge. What I'm gonna do with this beautiful guy, okay, so you have a ring going here, but we still have half a meatloaf left, right? So you're like, what are we gonna do with that? Well, why wouldn't we put pepper jack cheese in the middle of this bad boy, right? So I have taken a block of pepper jack cheese and I've cut it in to a stick here. So I'm gonna just press it down into my meatloaf and stuff it with cheese, because cheese makes everything better. I love cheese. Who doesn't love cheese, right? Right, okay. And especially pepper jack cheese. It's gonna give it just so much extra flavor. And I probably don't even need all of this cheese. I still have about 3 pieces left. That'll be a good snack for me. So put it back here in my little bowl. Set it aside. Okay, now we have the other half of the meatloaf. We need to hide that cheese. And remember, just like I said, we want the thickest part of our meatloaf to be on the outside edge, because the stack cooker cooks from the outside in, but we want to make sure we hide that cheese so all that melty goodness stays on the inside. I am so excited. I cannot wait to eat this when it's done. I love food. I love good food, you know, and I've had some meatloafs in the past that weren't so great. I'm sure we've all had that story, and someone out there's watching this going like, I don't like meatloaf. I'm not going to eat that. I'm never going to make this. Cool. Don't make this one, but switch it up. If you like ground chicken, like I said, make ground chicken. And I've even made meatloaf before and I know you're going to be like, what? I'm going to have to try that. So, in a traditional meatloaf pan, but I'm going to try incorporating it into this because I think it would just work perfectly too. I made a meatloaf similar to this. I didn't put bell peppers. I used mushrooms, onions, and garlic. And I laid it in a pan that was for loaves. And in the bottom of the loaf pan though, before I put everything in there, I put in bacon strips. So it was a layer of bacon across the loaf pan. Then I put the meatloaf mixture, and then I put on top of that cream of mushroom soup on top of it. It was so good. But like I said, that's going to be a demo for another day. Okay, so I've got my little space there, got my little meatloaf here. I'm going to pause it really quick. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to come back. All right, guys, I'm back. Gotta always wash your hands. You don't want to like contaminate things. So this is my beautiful meatloaf. Yay. And don't forget, we're not done because later on we're going to top this with a topping. So the next layer that goes on, this is actually a lid. So I could stop here. I could put the lid on, put it in the microwave, set it and forget it, and come back, put the topping on, put it back in the microwave for a little bit, and be done. Remember, I said 5 minutes per pound of food. So we know we have 2 pounds of meat, probably half a pound of veg and toppings, probably not even that actually, and then about a pound in the bottom for potatoes. So we've got about 3.5, 4 pounds of food, so about 20 minutes at this stage. So what I'm gonna do though, is I'm gonna invert my lid, I'm gonna give it a good little press down, like so. So I've got everything stacked together. Now, I told you we were gonna make Brussels sprouts in the top, right? Right, so I've got just some frozen Brussels sprouts that I've had hanging out on the counter, kind of defrosting, and I'm gonna pour these right into the lid. Now they're still gonna have a little bit of moisture, which is fine because you want a little bit of moisture to cook with. So we're gonna pour that right into the lid, like so. Give it a little spread out. You want it to be even. Okay, okay. Now we reserved those tomatoes from earlier. Get a little something here. This will work. So just gonna spread my petite diced tomatoes out as well, right in there. And I also told you that earlier, if you watched the beginning of the demo, I put some chopped onion in here. I'm just gonna use my hands. Just spread some around like so. We want that good oniony flavor because I love onions. I don't know if you love onions or not, but I do. So I'll wipe my hands off there again a second. Now I am gonna add some black pepper. Just give it a good shaking. You can also get these little cool seasoning holders in Tupperware. This one is a mini and I got this as a gift, but there's one that's like a little bit bigger that you can order in the modular mate section of the catalog. So check that out if you like it. I'm gonna use a little bit more of that garlic lovers seasoning. It has no salt. Try to limit my salt that I add into my food. So no salt there. Because I'm gonna add bacon. Who doesn't want bacon, right? So I have about 3 pieces of bacon that I have not pre-cooked at all because it's gonna cook right in the stack cooker. All I did was kind of dice it up. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our bacon in here. We're gonna kind of mix everything together. Just use your hands. Sometimes your hands are the best tools in the kitchen. I also heard some chefy person say that one time, and I believe the chefy people. I'm not a chef, but I believe the chefy people. Okay, one more time, gonna pause it, wash up, we're gonna get in the microwave. Okay guys, I'm all washed up again. So my husband snuck in and got some of that extra cheese. So let me just push this around so I can show you what this looks like, and we're gonna go right in the microwave. Now remember, I said it's about 5 minutes per pound of food in the microwave. So 5 minutes per pound. So we got about a pound of potato in the bottom with the water. We got 2 pounds of hamburger meat, probably half a poundish of veg and everything mixed up there. And then our Brussels sprouts and bacon, probably another 1.5 pounds. So we've got pound, 3.5, so we've got 4.5, another 5.5, so 6 pounds. So this is gonna take about 30 minutes. So watch this, guys. This is how I'm cooking dinner tonight, people. Into the microwave, close the door, 30 minutes, start. I'm gonna go take a shower. I'll see you in 30 minutes when dinner's done. Hey guys, I'm back and we have about 30 seconds left to go. I'm all showered, I had time to do the dishes, I set it and forget it. So I thought I'd take just a quick second to show you the stack cooker. In the catalog, it is super awesome. I can't tell you how excited I am. It's on page 38 of the 2021 spring and summer catalog. It's normally $119, and if you're watching this at a later date, I'm sorry if you didn't catch it on sale. It's currently on sale for like $99. So you can go to my website. If you look me up on Facebook, it's Michelle Wood Lavis. You'll see my name right in the description. It's the same on Facebook. Super easy to find me because I have such a unique name. Oh, hey, there's the beep. So let's get our dinner out. So as I was saying, these are stay cool handles. So you don't even need pot holders to pull it out. You can get it right in and out of there. So if your kids are helping you in the kitchen, I would, not let them be reaching up there and get it out. Maybe give them some pot holders. But if it's you or your husband or whatever, or an older teenager, they'd be perfectly fine helping. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is just check on my Brussels sprouts, give them a little stir. They're looking so yummy. Let me put them over here so you guys can see. I wish you had smell-o-vision because they look amazing. I'm gonna set those aside. Okay. So we have to get back to our meatloaf for a second. So I told you, coolest thing about this is it has a colander, right? So, you know what, let me get a little plate to set this on really quick because I want to show you how cool this is. Put our sauce to the side for a second. So I'm going to set our meatloaf right here on this little plate and check this out. Remember I said we cooked with 80-20, but don't worry about it because it's all going to drip off. Look at that! It's all right there. It's all right there. Isn't that the awesomest thing you've ever seen in your life? Right? You don't have to worry about trying to drain it, anything like that. It's already done. So this does have to go back in though for a minute because we need to put on our topping. So I did send my husband to the store to get me a little bit of ketchup because I felt like we needed some more ketchup for our topping. I'm a ketchup girl. So he brought me like the biggest ketchup bottle on earth. So we're going to just squeeze that into our other toppings that we already had in the bowl. Got some more ketchup on me just like earlier. Sorry, again, making ketchup messes. And I did have him to pick me up a little bit more barbecue sauce too. So add a little bit more barbecue sauce in there. Grab me a spoon over here. Don't have one right there. I just did all the dishes. So okay, so I'm just gonna mix that up in my That's a Bowl mini that we used earlier. We put all the same stuff we put in the meatloaf. Worcestershire, mustard, barbecue sauce, and ketchup. So just the wet ingredients basically that we put in our meatloaf. So we're going to just pour that all around the top, spread it out. It'll probably just be faster for me to do this. Just give it a pour it right on there, and then spread that around. I like it to drip all down in the middle, get all juicy and delicious. Now we're going to set that aside because we don't need that anymore. And we're going to put just this section back in the microwave because remember it's sectioned out. So we're just going to take these two sections, the one catching all the grease and the one with our meatloaf. We're going to put it back in here. 3 minutes. That's going to cook our topping. Now in the bottom of our bowl we had our potatoes that we cooked with our water. We're just going to strain those out real quick in a colander. Strained out. And I'm going to pour them right back in here. We're going to do everything right here in our base. So we are going to take some butter that we had sitting out on the counter just to kind of get it a little bit soft. We're going to put probably about 2 or 3. That would be my son, who I asked to not say anything embarrassing walking through the kitchen, trying not to say anything embarrassing. Set that aside. Then we had our milk that we had hanging out too, just to kind of get to room temperature because we didn't want to put cold milk into our warm potatoes and make them cold, right? Because nobody wants to eat that. We're going to eyeball this first. So we're going to put probably just about half, I would say. We'll leave a little bit in there and we'll see how it goes. I like to add pepper. So I'm going to add a little pepper to my potatoes. And we only added a little bit of salt earlier when we originally put them in. So now we're going to give them a little sprinkling of salt because we want them to have flavor. And then I have already plugged in my mixer. And I'm getting my mix. Woo, I'm getting milk everywhere. I'm going to pause this real quick while I do this up and I'll come right back to you. Okay guys, so my meatloaf, I pulled it out and you're supposed to let it rest for about 5 minutes. So I got it sitting on the counter. When I was doing my potatoes, I felt like they needed to be a little bit more done. So I put those back in for about 3 more minutes. I cleaned up some more stuff while that's going and then we'll mash up some taters. Be right back. Okay guys, I'm back. So I just put the potatoes back in the microwave for a little bit. We already had poured the milk on it, and I'm just gonna poke it with a fork to make sure, oh yeah, good and soft now. So we already have our milk, our butter, and our salt and pepper in the cooker. I just pulled it out. You can see it's steaming, but it's cool to the touch, so I can touch it. You don't need pot holders to get it out of your microwave. So we're gonna go ahead and use the lid. Again, I'm gonna pause it while I do this. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so I decided to go ahead and just switch to my handheld masher here. It's a little bit easier, I found, in the bowl. I'm working with hot liquid since I went ahead and microwaved the potatoes again with the milk and the butter. So I don't want to splash hot liquid all over me and burn myself and, you know, scar myself for life or anything like that. So anyway, I just whipped out the old handy dandy hand masher, giving that a good little mash up there. And you can add more milk or butter if you want yours to be more mashed up or more smooth. Omitted if you want it to be more lumpy. If you have a dairy allergy, you could do this with chicken stock or vegetable stock if you're trying to keep it vegan. Just, you know, omit the butter and leave that out. There's also some pretty good butter, you know, substitutes if you want. Let me just put that there for a second. I want to give it a stir and see if I need anything. I already seasoned it, so I don't think that I need anything else in it. And we like to have ours a little bit, look at that, oh, steaming hot deliciousness. I'm so excited. I can't wait to try this. So I rested my meatloaf. Got that all hanging out here. Can't wait to try that. And we have our Brussels sprouts with the bacon and onions and tomatoes, and I'm gonna serve everything up right in here. I don't have to get extra, you know, platters dirty or anything like that. We're literally gonna have everything right here for dinner. I don't have to do anything extra, and all of that fat and grease right there, drained off. We're not eating that. We're not having to, you know, do extra steps to drain the grease. I'm just gonna let it cool off a little bit, and then I'm gonna pour it into a zipper bag so I can throw it right out. So I hope that you've enjoyed this demo. If you have any questions about the stack cooker, feel free to reach out. You can reach me on Facebook. I have a VIP page. Again, I'm Michelle Wood-Lavis, and it's been a pleasure doing this demo. Come back for more demos, and we're gonna do the micro grill next time. You guys have a blessed night. I'm gonna eat dinner and get to church. So you guys, I had to come back really quick while I plated it up and show you how delicious and amazing this looks. I can't wait to eat. That ooey gooey cheese is coming out the other side. I already tried my potatoes. They're amazing. The Brussels sprouts. You guys got to get this stack cooker. It is going to save your time, energy. Delicious. Love it. So impressed. All right, you guys have a blessed night.